Hello again. So, we are here again for our conversations that we are having, our online Zoom conversations. Hello, Alexandra.
Hi, Richard. How are you doing?
Thank you. All good so far, and happy to be back online for the videos.
Yeah,
So, mhm,
me too. Me too.
we wanted to look at the topic of looking good instead of really making progress.
Yeah, that's a funny question because I mean, at my age, of course, I want to look good, but I'm asking myself, what are you thinking about when you say looking good?
Yeah, with looking good, I mean that in certain areas of your life, this could be relationships, your business, or other things. Are you trying to look good to the outside and to other people, or do you really make progress? And this can be a completely different thing. On the outside, it might look great, and in the inside, you know that you're not really making progress. And I think it's good to sometimes ask yourself hard questions. Am I really making progress? Or do I just want to present this to the outside world? Can you relate to this?
In some ways, I think the question that comes up for me is, what do you mean with progress? Like for some people, it's important that they make good livelihood so they can, be safe in life. And for other people, it's important that they are famous, as in having a lot of people watching them, observing them as a self-employed or if you look at people that are employed, how can they measure their progress and what do they want to progress in? So,
Maybe on their spiritual path or in their relationships, because it's not the same for everyone. You will have, let's say, like this one or more areas in your life that you want to develop in, if you are being honest to yourself. And this is um, the first step. You have to be honest with yourself. And this also relates to me to goal setting, for example. Are you being honest what you want to achieve? And on the path towards your goals, are you really making progress? Or do you just fool yourself and say, oh, it's like if you want to lose weight, yeah? And you say, yeah, I'm making great progress, but you're never weighing yourself, for example. You avoid weighing because you say, no, I'm making great progress. And in other areas of your life, it could be the same. It's it's sometimes not easy to deal with the realities. Yeah.
yeah, the question that is involved in this is it like personal goals can sometimes be more measurable than spiritual goals, or um, yeah, maybe kind of developing certain skills. You never know whether you kind of came to progress in the skill you're trying to develop, maybe representing, teaching, playing an instrument. Of course, you can hear it, but where are you making progress or are you slowing down? Um, what came to mind is one question that certainly comes up if you go into a gray area. I mean, these days there's so much advertisement out there. You can live your dream life. You just have to find your happiness. And some people find that they can express themselves finally as they want to express themselves, might be progress to them. But then the question is that really progress or just kind of, feeling good about yourself?
Let's take one area of your life, the spiritual path. That's a good area to look at. Also, there, if you're really honest, you can see if you're making progress or not. like this, you want a certain relationship with the divine, yeah, if this is your path. And it's sometimes not about feeling the divine all the time. It's more about your day-to-day connection with the divine. And you can, of course, see, is this deepening? Do you feel deeper connected to the divine or not? And yeah, but one important thing for this is you have to remember. So if you just forget the divine and go on with your day, you have to remember. And this is, for example, something you can do in every moment. And this develops a relationship. We all have a very specific relationship with the divine, a very
Mm.
personal relationship, I would say.
Yeah, and so when you measure, or the initial question was, are you more interested in looking good than in progress? So where do you place looking good in spirituality?
In spirituality, if you just want to that on the outside that people see how humble you are, and then you are living something completely different when you're at home, yeah, this is looking good instead of like the real thing. And for me personally, the thing is, or my practice is also to dedicate everything to the divine. Whatever you're doing, if you're going out or having a drink, or it's remembering in every moment. So I'm not living like you know, I'm fully engaged in life. Let's say it like this. So I'm not a hermit in a cave. Um, but my practice is, some people call this also, I think, karma yoga, yeah. To remember the divine in your actions. So this is also one part or one practice that I'm in. How is it with your path? How do you see this for yourself, Alexandra?
Um, I think um, I think I can relate on a spiritual path. Let's say we all have learned practices on the spiritual path that help us to remember the divine through connecting back to ourselves, and hence kind of trying to connect deeper into where we came from the divine. And I certainly got a connection, but to the outside world, I was always, or in the outside world, I was looking for the understanding that I am that now. I'm a reflection of the divine in my actions, in my practices. And lately it has been turned around completely 180 degrees, where it's not so important whether people see me as a spiritual person, or if, think that I'm doing certain things in the right way, but where it's more, it has become more clear that seeing the divine in everything also involves to see the divine in the parts I don't want to see. So yeah, it has turned around a lot.
Yeah, and this is also, I think, a part of being honest with yourself. We have to look at the dark stuff. We have to look at the parts that we don't want to look at. That's very important, because how do you want to be the light if you don't look at the dark? It's,
Mm.
yeah. And then for me, that's an important fact or factor of making progress, of becoming more real. Let's call it, maybe let's call it like this.
Yeah, so it's a funny thing without pointing fingers, because we all know that thing where we feel, because we've been trained to think about ourselves from the outside, how outside people reflect us, what they see in us. Are you a good girl? Are you a good student? Are you a good, like this is how we are being trained by society in mainly. But when you kind of cross over into the spiritual path where you are kind of becoming a self-explorer and you have to let go of all the outside remarks. Maybe you have to take the hints from the outside, what's happening on the outside world, where you're not aligned in what you're doing. That is a big jump, I think, for a lot of people in life, because we are so fed in like saying we are good because we have a lot of students in class in yoga, or a lot of people meditate with us. It's easily mistaken through the training we've received before.
Yeah, and it comes back to this, the relationship to the divine that you have personally is not necessarily reflected if you're teaching somebody. There are a lot of people who are really spiritual and have an immensely deep relationship to the divine who will never be known. And this is also totally fine. It just depends what you have to do in this time of your life and incarnation.
Okay, well, thank you. I hope we kind of gave you food for thought and thinking. This is what these conversations want to initiate. And yeah, we hope to see you next time for our next video.
Thank you guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.